Okay, I believe it's 5:30. Come to order. Good evening. Welcome everyone to our regular board meeting of Vancouver Public Schools. Before we get started, I wanted to share a few thoughts and reminders. We want our boardroom to be welcoming, safe, and a safe place for any and all of our community members and guests. As this is a business meeting, we do expect those in attendance to conduct themselves in a respectful way. We would ask that you do not interrupt the meeting, and if there is an immediate need that you have, such as an audio concern or question, please move to the back and let one of our staff members know. As a reminder, there is a designated space for any video recording and/or media. We will now get started with our business meeting and the items on our agenda. First, roll call. Director Sproul? Here. Director Zavala? Here. Director Smith? Here. Director Barrows? Here. And I am here. So we are all present. And I believe we have the superintendent's report.
Yeah, welcome everyone. It's good to see you on a cold evening. We're glad that you're here. Before I get into the superintendent report, we have a tradition of our national anthem is performed by one of our schools. And tonight, the national anthem is performed by the McLaughlin Middle School. So if you're willing and able, if you could please rise, we'll have the video up here. Thank you. At the end of the board meeting, the McLaughlin Middle School band will also play a number. And so if you're not here at the end of the meeting, you can also watch it online. So we appreciate them sharing the music with us tonight. I'm going to share my screen. There you go. So in my superintendent report, I have a number of things that I wanted to share. One is we have some guests from the city of Vancouver that I'll introduce. Always give a strategic planning update. Today is election day, so happy election day, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And then looks like we have an interesting Thursday and Friday with our weather forecast, so we'll talk briefly about that as well. So one of the things that we've shared some communication in the last month or so is there's been a lot of uncertainty around changes at the federal level in policy and executive orders and trying to make sense of those, especially sometimes when they run in conflict with some of our state laws. And so it's been a lot of confusion and a lot of questions, and we've done our best to try to share what we know and how we're trying to support students and families and making sure people feel safe and want to come to our schools. And part of that partnership extends to the city. We're very fortunate to have the city of Vancouver's leadership, and we interact on a lot of different things. But tonight we have a couple of guests that just wanted to share briefly some of the city's approach to trying to support our community. So we're fortunate to have Councilmember Ty Stober here and Deputy Chief of Police Erica Nielsen. So we want to welcome them and then turn it over to Councilmember Stober.
Good evening, President Decker, Vancouver School Board Directors and Superintendent Snell. As you said, my name is Ty Stober. I'm a Hauk resident and a member of the Vancouver City Council. As said, I'm joined tonight by Assistant Chief Nelson, and I'm here to speak to you about one of the City of Vancouver's priorities, being public safety, which is a pillar of community health. On January 20th, the Trump administration rescinded a Biden-era policy that protected certain areas, including schools, from immigration enforcement. As a result of this change, immigration agents now have greater authority to question the immigration status of our families, including young children, our neighbors, and small business owners. In light of this new directive, I'm here to share an overview of the city's policy regarding immigration law, which has been in place for over 5 years. The City of Vancouver and the Vancouver Police Department believe that to ensure community safety, every member of the public needs to feel safe contacting law enforcement. With that in mind, we recognize a separation of authority, leaving immigration policy and its enforcement to the federal government. Vancouver police officers are not authorized immigration officials, nor do they have the capacity nor the training to act as such. For the safety of all of our community, members of the public, regardless of their race, ethnicity, country of birth, sex, sexual orientation, sexual identity, veteran status, disability, or religious affiliation or non-affiliation, must feel secure in asking for help, reporting a crime, or calling 911. Immigration officials do have the authority to operate in the city of Vancouver, and they may choose to enter a public facility. City staff in public-facing positions, such as the Marshall and Furstenberg Community Centers and at City Hall, are being trained on how to interact with immigration officials. They're being provided a clear roadmap to guide their actions. Additionally, if questions arise, a city attorney is on call from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. So, for example, a frontline city employee needing to differentiate between a judicial warrant and an administrative warrant will be able to reach the on-call legal counsel. The city will comply with all judicial warrants properly signed by a judge. The city is a committed partner with the Vancouver School District in providing a safe environment for our children and their families, and will continue to share information on policies that affect the overall health of our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Stover. I know the board is committed to a similar stance of making sure that all of our students feel welcome in our schools and safe, and similar training and policies and practices. So later this evening, there'll be more discussion about that, but we appreciate you both taking the time to come and share with us. Any questions or comments from board directors?
Thank you.
As you came in this evening, there was an opportunity to grab an agenda, and then there's also an opportunity to grab a one-pager that's related to our strategic planning update. You can also scan to see that. It's always just kind of a snapshot of where we're at with our strategic planning work, and would welcome people to ask questions about that, or if they're interested, just dig a little deeper with that. I know the board is really committed to not just adopting a strategic plan, but seeing progress on that. So that's here for your reference this evening. And then I did speak about Election Day today. Today is the last day for people to turn in their ballots. And across the county, there's a number of school elections that are on the ballot. In Vancouver, it's a levy renewal for our capital levy. So that's more about stuff as opposed to people. And so things like our technology, infrastructure, devices, curriculum, safety components. And so we've been sharing this information since November when the board adopted the resolution. And so I think the ballots, the first run of ballots usually comes in about 8 o'clock tonight. So we'll look at that and hope for a positive outcome and go from there. So the last piece before I get into recognition is there has been a lot of weather lately. I know that's always on people's minds. And it always seems to hit when we have a lot of activities. And so we have students going to outdoor school tomorrow. We have basketball games, concerts, and things of that nature. And so AJ Panter is our operations person and gets briefed by the National Weather Service, and looks like we could have some freezing rain on Thursday. And so stay tuned. We'll try to make sure that we make those best decisions possible, and please extend us a little grace as we try to predict what might happen and try to keep everybody safe and keep everybody at their activities. So can't ever get through winter without a few of these stretches. So with that, I think I'm going to go to what a lot of people are here this evening for is our recognition. I'm going to invite Director Decker forward, and we're going to read some names, both staff and students, and invite folks to take some pictures. And then there will be a pause after the recognition part of the agenda when it allows for people to leave if they don't want to stay for the full meeting. So with that,
Just gonna make a quick statement. So we're presenting our Excellence Awards. And if you're being recognized, please walk to the podium when you are introduced to receive your certificate and pose for a photo. Then once everyone has been honored, we will also take a group photo. So hang back there after you get yours until we get a whole group one. If you all choose to leave after this portion of the meeting, we ask you to please exit quietly. I know it's hard because you're here recognizing your friends and the colleagues that you work with and your family. But if you could chat outside the door rather than inside the door, that'll help us move the meeting forward. Thanks.
all right, with that, we have our Employee Excellence Award winners. The following employees are selected by a committee of their peers for commitment to the students and staff of Vancouver Public Schools. These recipients were among the many outstanding nominees who create a caring environment and positive workplace through their exceptional efforts. If you're interested in learning more about the program or to nominate someone, the information is on our district website. So I'm going to get right into it. Our first award winner is Dean Jackson, a bus driver from transportation. Dean, could you come forward, please, and be recognized? Dean is nominated for an Employee Excellence Award for his outstanding dedication and exemplary service as one of our school bus drivers. His commitment to student well-being is consistently evident, but a recent incident highlighted his exceptional character. While driving a bus with special needs students on board, Dean encountered a student who had some difficulty seating. His nominator shares, instead of reacting with frustration or haste, Dean remained calm and patient. I was able to observe firsthand the gentle and caring way he addressed the situation, ensuring the student felt heard and respected. Dean's calm and professional handling of the situation exemplifies his dedication to student safety, and sets an example for how staff should interact with students, especially during those difficult moments. Thank you so much, Dean. Congratulations.
This way to perfect. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Our next award winner is Bethany Rivard. Can you give her a round of applause? Bethany is an English teacher and MECHA advisor at Fort Vancouver High School, as she is affectionately known by her colleagues and students as a teaching wizard, school mom, and the best teacher I know. These titles speak volumes about her dedication and the positive impact she has on her students and the Fort Vancouver community. Her commitment to mentorship has created lasting change, inspiring future educators and renewing a passion for teaching in her colleagues. In her classroom, Bethany cultivates a safe and joyful learning environment where high-level academics meet unwavering patience and genuine connection. One nominator shares Bethany will take students each September, and when June rolls around, every student in her class is a much better writer, reader, thinker, person, and each of them has a much better idea about just who they are and how they can make a difference and where they can fit in the world. Thank you, Bethany. Our next award winner is Beth Shinners. Beth, could you come forward? Beth is a third grade teacher at Hazeldale Elementary and has a remarkable impact on her students and their families. She cultivates a nurturing and engaging and learning environment where every child feels supported and encouraged to reach their full potential. Beth collaborates closely with parents, particularly those whose children need extra support, demonstrating both empathy and a grasp of the importance of a strong homeschool partnership. One parent shares that Beth gets kids, possessing a special knack for understanding their individual personalities and learning styles. This nominator also shares that her daughter feels safe, valued, and inspired in her classroom, even declaring her the best teacher she has ever had. Beth's exceptional ability to connect with her students, coupled with her passion for teaching and dedication to their success, makes her a truly exceptional educator and a treasured member of the Hazeldale community. Thank you, Beth. And our final staff award winner tonight is Vera Zeliak, a paraeducator at Truman Elementary. Vera is an invaluable member of the Truman Elementary family, consistently going above and beyond to support students, families, and staff. Fluent in Russian and Ukrainian, Vera bridges communication gaps, ensuring that families feel welcomed, understood, and supported. Nominators praise her superhuman work ethic and highlight her vital role in connecting with and supporting the school's multilingual community. In her role as paraeducator, Vera provides encouragement, structure, and a safe environment for all students, from greeting them in the morning to working in small groups and keeping them safe on the playground. One colleague sums it up best: "I can't imagine our lives without Vera." Thank you, Vera.
All right, and then you have your plaque, if I can have you hold it up. Perfect. And 1, 2, 3. Got it. Congratulations.
Okay, yeah, we have a number of students tonight as well. So our student recognitions this evening are focused primarily on music tonight, and we have a number of individual, very talented students who are part of a larger group. And so I'm going to do these kind of group at a time. So I'll put the names up there, and then we'll call one of the groups forward to get a picture, and then we'll move to the next group so we can make sure that everybody gets recognized. So our first group, and I should say that these are awards put on by the Washington Music Educators Association, and they represent both all state, which would be obviously Washington, but also all Northwest, which is pretty amazing. So selection for these ensembles is highly competitive, demanding many hours of practice and an audition. These musicians will travel to Spokane later this month to participate in the Northwest Division Conference, where they'll have the incredible opportunity to rehearse and perform with world-renowned conductors. And so the first group that I want to call forward, and we may or may not have everybody in these groups, so we'll just make sure. We have Gabriel, Natalie, and Ava, who are a part of the All-State Symphonic Choir. If any of those folks are here, could you come forward?
That works. All right. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Sure. You can come up, feel free. If anybody wants a picture on their phone. Congratulations.
Okay, our next group is the treble choir with Abigail and Christine. I'm not seeing Abigail's for some reason.
We're gonna scoot this way, everybody. Big steps this way, like 2 big gaps. Perfect. All right. Trying to keep them organized. Perfect, perfect. All right. And 1, 2, 3.
Our next group is the All Northwest Mixed Choir, and we have Tanner and Nicholas that were both representatives of that group. Are Tanner and Nicholas here? Okay, we'll make sure we get those to them. And then our next group is the All-State Junior Orchestra. And we have Jesse from Geyser, Thomas from Jason Lee, Rogelio from Jason Lee, Aldrin from Jason Lee, Annika from Jason Lee, Roe from VSAA, and Porter from VSAA. So if those students could come forward. Okay, you're gonna have to help me with this because I got a lot of Jesse, Thomas, Rogelio, Aldrin, Mara, no, Rose.
Or you can put them on.
Porter?
Okay.
Okay, I read it wrong, I'm sorry. So, and let's do our picture.
We're gonna do a
here.
group picture.
Huh?
And if everybody can pop the sticky note off of theirs, either put it in your pocket or put it on the back. And then we're all gonna have to take a step this way. And I'm hoping we can make it in. Yeah, anchor yourselves inward a little bit. There we go. Got it. We can do this way a little bit more. Okay, everybody good? Yes. And then 1, 2, 3. We're gonna stagger just. Okay, very good. All right, I'm gonna have you move forward a little bit, and then if you could go back. Yeah, okay, and then we'll try to. Thank you guys. Okay, that's barely. And 1, 2, 3. Made it. Okay. Thank you guys. Congratulations. Congratulations. A lot of hard work.
Our next group is the All-State High School Orchestra, and we have Tima, Henry, and Benjamin, all from VSAA. If you are all here, could you come forward and be recognized?
One, two, three. We got it.
Okay, and then last but certainly not least, we have the All Northwest Band and Aaron Moriarty, who plays the flute from VSAA. Yeah, I think we got everybody. Always when there's a lot of students like that, I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Is there? Okay, so that would be horrible. All right, I think that concludes our recognition. So thank you all. Sorry. We do have one last recognition, and they're from students that were graduated last year. It's okay, I messed that up. So Caitlin and Medina and Cora Hoy both graduated, and they were recognized last year for National History Day. And as we're transitioning, if you do want to stay, you're welcome to, but if you're wanting to leave, we're gonna play a short 2-minute video of their recognition last year, so.
Cora and Caitlin, please come forward. And then this last year, they worked together on a project. They placed 4th in the state of Washington.
When I look around this room, you are the reminder of why we at OSPI, Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction, get up every morning and do the work that we do in Olympia, because it matters and it impacts all of you. It's my honor to be here on behalf of the Social Studies program at OSPI to recognize our 2 recipients of the 2024 Daniel J. Evans Civic Education Award, Caitlin Medina and Cora Hoyt.
These 2 ladies are amazing, amazing historians. Please give them another round of applause.
Our topic was on the Red Scare, McCarthyism, but specifically, we had some documents from the mayor of Vancouver that connected her family to the Red Scare in Vancouver, Washington.
The
It was
best
the
part.
coolest part. We felt like detectives really because
Yes,
you know,
like murder
these-
mystery.
Yes.
With the red tape. Like
because these had been, you know, in her attic for years and years and years. They hadn't been looked at since probably the 70s. To put it frankly, NHG helped me realize my love for history. If I hadn't done all these projects, especially my exhibits, at this age, I probably wouldn't have discovered what I wanted to do in post-secondary education.
just say stick with it. Like I didn't even make it past regionals my first year, and like to get where I am now, like you just have to keep at it. And we didn't know that we got nominated for it. That was
No.
something that Mr. Z did on his own.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we just got an email like, I just applied for it.
It's always good to see students achieving and growing in their joy of learning. So now is our time for public comments. And it's the time in our meeting where the board and the administrative staff welcome comments from the public. If you'd like to address the board and did not have an opportunity to sign in at the start of the meeting, please do so now. You may continue to sign in at any time during the public comments portion of our meeting. We ask that you approach the podium and state your name and affiliation with the district for our records. You will have 3 minutes to make your comments. When you hear the chime, please conclude your remarks. If you have materials or additional comments you would like the board to review, please hand them to the staff in the back of the room. This information will be provided to the superintendent and the board. Because most matters require fact-finding and review, and the state's Open Public Meeting Act restricts deliberation on topics that have not been placed on the public notice agenda in advance, the board does not respond to any public comments made at this time. If a follow-up action is necessary, the board will ask the superintendent to work with the administrative staff to consider the information and respond accordingly. As a regular business meeting of the board, we expect everyone in attendance to conduct themselves professionally and courteously during the meeting. Speakers are also expected to be respectful. The board asks that personnel complaints be submitted in writing rather than during this public comment period. Please also remember that your words have an impact and that you, not the school district, are responsible for what you say during public comment. We caution all speakers that it is possible that your statement could violate the rights of others under various laws, including laws protecting privacy and laws prohibiting defamation. If you're unsure of the potential legal effects of your remarks, you should seek independent legal advice. In any case, we ask that you help us model for our students what a respectful and inclusive community looks and sounds like. We also ask the audience to refrain from clapping, cheering, or commenting while others give public comments. Whether you are in support or against, we recognize that there are diverse beliefs and feelings across our community, but one thing that we have in common is that we all want to do what is best for our children. We are here today to work towards their future. Disruptive conduct by speakers or the audience may cause the meeting to be adjourned and all audience members to be removed per RCW 42.330.050. Finally, the board appreciates, listens, and cares about the broad range of perspectives in our community. Thank you in advance to everyone who provides public comment. Do we have anybody on Zoom? Okay, go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead, Beth.
Oh, hi. Sorry, guys. I've never joined via Zoom before. You can hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. I just wanted to take a moment during this to say thank you for the work that you as a board have been continuing to do on behalf of our students. I am hopeful that as things change throughout the country, that our district will follow the lead of Chris Reichdahl, our superintendent, and really stand firm and strong in support of our students of color and our LGBTQ students. I work with elementary students a lot. I have a middle schooler, and I have a middle schooler who identifies as queer, and I have kids that I love who are trans, and I just really want to encourage the board and express how important it is to me that the board advocate for them, that all students feel welcome in our schools, and that as the new administration puts pressure on the Department of Education or dismantles it entirely or whatever, and is really causing a lot of harm nationwide to our most vulnerable students, that we take a really hard, firm approach to advocating for them and standing firm in our support of them and allowing them to be their whole selves in our schools. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Anyone? Amy Harris? Thank you.
Like we don't have Amy at this time, Jefferson, is that right?
Okay.
The other one that we weren't sure they wanted to comment Zoom or not was a gentleman named Tanner.
Okay, I don't have Tanner on this list, so.
I don't see them in the Zoom call, so yeah, we can move on to
Okay.
in person.
Great. Okay, thank you. Okay, first up in person is Bethany Rivard.
Hello, my name is Bethany Rivard. I'm an educator at Fort Vancouver High School for the past 18 years. And I figured since I was here already, I might as well give public comments. And I want to thank the Vancouver School Board of Directors, President Decker, Superintendent Snell for the opportunity to speak. And I would like to speak to the first reading of Draft Policy 4300 and express some questions surrounding certain areas of the document. One is the clear delineation among staff. So staff will, so I was wanting to know exactly which staff will be expected to do what. Which staff will be the point people and how will that be clearly defined? For instance, does staff mean administrative point people instead of all staff? What are the roles of DROs, classified staff, advocates, and certificated? And if only administrators are the point people, can that be clearly defined? Then all staff besides the administrators will not be dealing with enforcement. Just wonderings. And as a parent and educator, I know that we all agree that student safety is paramount. And I'm here to just suggest that the clearest of expectations will help make some students, staff, and families more feel more safe expecting what will happen. So a question I have is, how will that communication get rolled out when the draft policy is in its final form? And to encourage that clear guidance needs to be communicated around what happens if staff breaches protocol in regards to student information in sections 5 and 6 of the draft. And once again, would like to stress the importance of direct training concerning the protocol of events to all staff, classified, certificated, all staff. I'm also wondering if attendance has been looked at around this topic and what the data says about any drops in attendance in schools across the district. Because as we know, student attendance is crucial to learning, and doing what we can to make sure that every student is safe enough to attend and focus is crucial. Another topic for more guidance and attention, in my opinion, is section 2B. The areas of concern outside of the traditional school day and main area of the building to include bus stops, school sanctioned functions, extracurricular activities, and anywhere where students would reasonably be while participating fully in their school experience. Who are the point people and what is the process in those cases? I just want to thank you for the opportunity to express these questions and concerns around the draft policy, and thank you for your time.
Next up, we have Lauren Zeff.
Thank you very much. My name is Lauren Zeff, and I'm a mom and a grandmother, a business owner. My kids went to the Vancouver School District, and my grandkids do now. I have a couple of things, and 3 minutes is never enough, especially when it's only once a month, but I wanted to just drop an idea that I'm thinking of, and that is to see about maybe trying to get community support to create a tutorial program for the kids to help them catch up to grade level so that they can thrive academically. I have a couple of ideas and I'll see about developing them. I just wanted to drop it out there. I know you're trying to do something and you do something once a month, but it is not enough in my opinion. Anyway, last month, one of the beautiful teachers came on Zoom and she asked the board to tell her and the community what you were going to do to protect the DEI agenda within the school system now that the new administration has taken the position against it. I would, you know, me, I've come up here many times saying I'd like DEI out of the agenda. I would like the schools to focus again just on teaching the things that our kids need to know for their academics. Anyway, I would like to know how you will address it as well, and will it be taken out? I really came to talk about the Senate Bill 5181 because I have a great concern with the 48-hour window. It says that the school has before they must contact the parents if the kids are like sexually assaulted. This is my understanding. If they're struggling with gender confusion and they're trying to figure out where they stand sexually, we know that the DEI agenda has already part of what it does is it creates confusion in the kids, which my understanding is the board is comfortable with doing, thinking they will work it out. You know, I really don't understand the process that is being rolled out within the classrooms. But again, I would so love to focus on the things where we have common ground, which is that the kids would be taught to act and react in respect and honor for each other. That there would be safety, that the kids would again enjoy learning and become curious. It makes me very concerned that so many of the kids seem to feel like victims in their own lives, and there seems to be missing pieces in their well-being. Anyway, thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Lauren. And last up is John Jard.
Hi, my name is John Gerard, owner of Quail Homes in Vancouver, working on the construction programs here with the school district. Want to kind of update you on some things. The toolbox events are just around the corner. I'd suggest if you want to attend, it'll put a smile on your faces. Talk with Dr. Reed or Mark Reith or Nancy Duncan. The schedule's moved a little bit, but I think there's 6 to 8 schools doing it, which might be maybe 500 of them or more, maybe 700. I'm not sure yet, but they're busy. Kind of wanted to update you on Skills USA events just finished locally here in the construction programs. Cascadia Tech 5, Hudson's Bay 5. We've caught them in year 3. And with the upgrade of the facilities, I would expect some good things happening in the future. The Hudson's Bay building, grand opening 5/20. If you want to put that on your schedules somewhere in the morning, we haven't nailed down the date yet. We're working on that. And Fort Vancouver, the building out there that we're going to be breaking ground in the next week. So that building will be built from the springtime to the fall. I don't know if we'll get done before. We're going to try and have it ready for the school year, but we'll see what happens on that. And then an exciting event is a grade 13 event that I put on that matches students with employers last year. 30 students were invited. They set almost 200 job interviews. All 30 kids had multiple job offers. 26 are working now. I'm getting feedback from the employers. The kids have been stellar. This year, the event, we're going to host it on May 1st. So put that on your calendar. Starts around 10, goes to 2, and we're going to have it at the new building. We'll bring in caterers, and we're going to show off the good work that we've done. And I'd say just want to thank everybody's support, AJ in particular. We're meeting, and I don't think we really know the impact that we're having until it hits, but all of the contractors working on the building want to start engaging more. They didn't even know what they could do. And I think that's a big message out there, is good things are happening, and we'll get really good engagement. Thanks.
Thank you, John. Okay. Is Tanner Noland in the room? No. All right, thank you. All right. Now we will move on to the regular business of the board. Thank you, first of all, to everyone who commented. We really do appreciate hearing from our community members. First up is approval of the minutes, January 3rd, January 9th, January 14th, and January 21st. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions? All right, then let's move to a vote. Director Sproul?
Approve.
Director Zavala?
Approve.
Director Smith?
Approve.
Director Barros?
Approve.
And I approve. Motion passes. And next is our consent agenda. Do I have motion to approve a vote?
I'll move.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions, discussion?
I was just going to point out one of the items on our consent agenda, which of course we talked about all of these at our committee meeting. One of the items is about the move from or the move into synergy for special ed programs. I had a lot of questions during our committee meeting about this. And so I just wanted to let the other directors know and the public know. I've gotten a lot of my questions answered. I went to the staff advisory where they presented about the decision-making process for all of that. And I was really grateful to kind of hear all of the benefits of this move. Was skeptical at first, but I am supportive of it. So
new programs are always hard to roll out. Thank you for doing that background information. Any other comments? All right.
I'll just interject that the school calendar for 25-26 is also on the consent agenda. And I know that that's one that people tend to pay attention to as well. So,
Thank you.
mhm.
All right. Let's take a vote. Director Barros?
approve.
Director Smith?
Approve.
Director Zavala?
Approve.
Director, I almost called you Barros. Director Sproul?
Approve.
And I approve. Let's move forward. And now our regular business, which got some policy here. So I will ask Mr. Richmond to please.
Got it.
What's your policies?
Right, so we have two policies for first reading and two policies for second reading. For first reading, policy 6210, purchasing authorization and control. The revision to this policy would update the board's financial governance practices by establishing a new minimum threshold for reviewing expenditures and new contracts and setting that at $150,000. And then for continuing expenditures and contracts, those would be reviewed by the board if the annual cost to the district increases by 10% or more. The second policy up for first read is policy 4300, immigrant and refugee students, families, and staff. This is a new policy. It's based on the Washington State Attorney General's model policy and the WASDA model policy regarding immigration enforcement in schools and compliance with the Keep Washington Working Act. This draft policy is consistent with the district's current practices regarding access to students and student information at our schools. And then the two policies up for second read, I can go through both of them and then the board can vote. So first policy is 3420, anaphylaxis prevention and response. The policy update here is based on changes to the WASDA model policy and requirements of House Bill 1608, reflecting that schools may maintain a supply of epinephrine nasal spray in addition to auto injectors or EpiPens. And second, policy 3424, opioid-related overdose reversal. This policy update is also based on changes to the WASDA model policy and based on RCW 28A.210.390. Most significantly, these changes clarify that any person, including students and staff, may carry opioid reversal medication or Narcan, either with a prescription or via over-the-counter medication, and have those in schools.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to vote on policy 3420? And 3424? I was gonna do them together,
I'll make a
unless
motion.
there's a objection.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Terrific. Any questions? Any comments? I'm just gonna comment that I'm glad to see that both of these very practical policies are being adopted, and that it's legal for us to save lives. So I really appreciate that the state has recognized that these things are necessary in a school building. With that, let's vote. Director Zavala? Approve. Director Sproul?
Approve.
Director Barros?
Approve.
Director Smith?
Approve.
And I approve as well.
If we have questions about the first readings of
Oh.
the things before, I'm wondering if we can, I don't know, there wasn't time to pause for that.
Oh,
I
I'm
wasn't-
sorry.
Oh, no, I wasn't
apologize.
sure.
Oh,
I was
okay,
just
let's go
wondering
back.
with the first reading of policy 4300, just given some of the comments tonight, I'm wondering if there are places where we do need to be more specific. I'm just wondering if that's something that perhaps, I don't know if Director Decker and Taylor, if you guys could maybe chat about that. I'm curious if there are places where we do need to be more specific about definitions of staff and some of the questions that were brought up tonight.
Sure, I'd be happy to talk with Director Decker about potential updates to that draft.
And additionally, if after the meeting, any of the directors have further questions that were brought up from the statements that were brought up tonight, please don't hesitate to send them to me and to Mr. Richmond, and we can look at those.
On
Thank
that
you.
topic, just really quickly, is it going to be included in our committee of the whole agenda?
Yeah.
Next week, okay. So we'll have an opportunity to talk about it there too.
Yes.
Also, just want to point out that sometimes at the policy level, it could be terms like staff, and then at the procedural level, there might be more clarification. So that's an opportunity as well.
Any other questions? Okay. Any questions about the first, since I didn't ask about that, about the purchasing authorization and control? I know we've asked questions at the committee of the whole earlier this month, so, okay, thank you. And next is the Board of Directors report. Do any of my fellow directors have anything to report?
Director Smith and I went to, as I mentioned before, staff advisory this past last week. Director Zavala and I attended family advisory, I think it was the week before. So there's a lot kind of going on in our community, and a lot of kinds of questions that families and staff are raising. We talked about cell phone policy and kind of narrowing down kind of what staff are thinking as far as cell phone policies at our last staff advisory. Yeah, so there's a lot of activity going on in our schools with the staff and families.
Anything else?
I'll just say, I think it was more my personal situation, but I've had the opportunity to get back into schools since winter break. And through community advisory, we had a great session up at Alki doing some classroom visits and connecting and sharing kind of what we learned, and saw a lot of great practices. And then today I had a very brief opportunity with Director Smith, and I know Director Zavala was there before me, but just to look at our alternative learning opportunities. So yeah, it's good to be back out in school and feel that energy.
There's a lot of energy in schools today. Anything else? Okay, well then this meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you.